In early April 2026, an F-15E Strike Eagle was shot out of the sky by a surface-to-air missile over the Iranian desert. Both crew members ejected, including a weapons systems officer known to the public only as Dude 44 Bravo. Despite his injuries, the officer hiked 2 miles and scaled a 7,000-foot ridgeline, ultimately hiding deep inside a remote mountain cave system to avoid immediate capture. This created an immediate problem for search and rescue teams. Thermal cameras and high-resolution satellites are effectively useless when a target is buried inside a hardened mountain structure. From the sky, he was invisible. Meanwhile, highly sophisticated Iranian signals intelligence units were actively hunting for his location. These specialized teams are dedicated to tracking and pinpointing any continuous radio broadcast on the battlefield. In this environment, a standard rescue beacon is a death sentence. If he transmitted too often, the enemy would lock onto his coordinates long before American helicopters could reach the site. U.S. rescue teams were faced with a tactical vacuum. They had to locate a stranded man who was shielded by solid rock and forced into total radio silence. Modern warfare has weaponized the electromagnetic spectrum. Active communication has become a homing beacon for the enemy, requiring a rescue method that doesn't rely on the pilot making a sound. To find him, the CIA deployed a highly classified tracking system called Ghost Murmur. Its operational philosophy is entirely passive, shifting the focus from broadcasting a signal to listening for one. The technology relies on a microscopic biological function. Every single time a human heart beats, the muscles depolarize, generating a faint but distinct electromagnetic field. Ghost Murmur scales this concept to a battlefield level using long-range quantum magnetometry, allowing sensors to detect these tiny pulses from miles away. This visualization shows the system in action. Black Hawk helicopters carry synthetic diamonds engineered with nitrogen vacancy centers. These quantum sensors project an invisible detection net that can penetrate solid rock to register the electromagnetic footprint of a beating heart. By weaponizing involuntary human biology, Ghost Murmur provides a tracking signal that the soldier doesn't have to trigger and the enemy cannot block. However, quantum sensors have a primary vulnerability. They are hypersensitive. They absorb every fluctuation in the magnetic field, from solar radiation and enemy radar to the Earth's own natural magnetism. Across thousands of square miles of desert, this creates a massive data problem. The raw feed is pure chaotic static, where a single human heartbeat is completely drowned out. As the extraction began, the system relies on a heavy-duty AI processing engine. This AI acts as an aggressive filter, trained to ignore planetary interference and isolate the precise clinical rhythm of a human heart. Using this digital filter, the system successfully locked on to the specific rhythm of Dude 44 Bravo's heart from a distance of up to 40 miles. This AI engine provides the critical processing layer, pinpointing a single biological whisper within a stadium of planetary noise. As the extraction began, the CIA launched a disinformation campaign, leaking rumors that U.S. forces were already smuggling the pilot out on the ground. This diverted Iranian military resources away from the actual mountains. But the window was short. As helicopters reached the extraction site, local militias and ground forces began moving in on the pilot's location. To prevent the perimeter from collapsing, U.S. operators used massive suppressive fire.
Overhead, A-10 Thunderbolts provided devastating close air support to hold back the advancing units. The rescue teams also deployed experimental soft-kill microwave weapons. These devices use the Frey Effect to incapacitate enemies, firing pulsed energy that creates intense pressure and sound inside the skull, causing immediate vertigo and nausea. Amid the chaos, the ground team reached the injured officer. They secured him and moved to the transport aircraft for immediate exfiltration. Before fleeing the desert, U.S. forces performed one final act. They deliberately destroyed their own $200 million transport aircraft. This destruction was a deliberate choice to keep American secrets out of enemy hands. Leaving the plane behind would have handed Iranian intelligence the highly classified Ghost Murmur hardware, giving them a massive technological windfall. In a world where the electromagnetic spectrum is a battlefield, evasion now requires more than hiding, because not even solid rock can shield the rhythm of a heartbeat. Hundreds of armed guards hold a fortified line in Venezuela, awaiting an impending assault. Approaching them is an extraction team of 20 American operators, vastly outnumbered. Standard tactical doctrine expects a grueling kinetic firefight. Success in this scenario usually requires overwhelming defensive firepower to be suppressed by an even larger assault force, often resulting in high casualties. During this mission, however, the American team never fired a shot. They secured the objective and moved through the compound entirely unopposed. Before operators even made visual contact, the defending soldiers were already collapsing to the ground. They were found bleeding from the nose, vomiting, and gripped by a sudden, blinding vertigo. Yet not a single bullet had been fired. The American air support loitering thousands of feet overhead provided the payload that neutralized the compound. Matte black, disc-shaped objects attached to the exterior of these helicopters served as the origin point for the devastation. A silent machine in the sky systematically dismantled a massive defensive force without breaking a single physical barrier. This engagement demonstrated that modern combat can effectively bypass the physical realm. The military classifies this technology as a soft kill system. It projects a focused beam of pulsed microwave energy rather than physical sound waves or ballistics. Microwave energy ignores traditional physical cover. The beam slides right through thick concrete walls and Kevlar helmets. The invisible beam travels straight into the human skull. Inside, the energy is absorbed by the water contained within brain tissue and the fluid of the inner ear. This absorption triggers a rapid thermal reaction, heating the internal tissue by a microscopic amount, less than 1 degree Celsius. This is the Frey Effect. That sudden thermal expansion generates a violent physical pressure wave originating from inside the skull. The target perceives this internal pressure as deafening clicks or a massive roar. It entirely bypasses the eardrums because the sound is being created directly inside the head. When the frequency matches the inner ear's resonance, it violently disrupts the body's center of balance, triggering immediate vertigo. Higher power levels cause the rapid tissue expansion that ruptures capillaries, resulting in the reported nosebleeds. This weapon system applies a direct physics equation to human tissue, weaponizing the brain's own water content to break the body from the inside out. Beyond the neurological trauma in the skull, the system can also induce intense biological disruption in the gut. This secondary capability relies on weaponized infrasonic pulsimeters. These devices fire high-intensity slugs of low-frequency air pressure, dropping below 20 Hz. Human internal organs have a natural acoustic resonance. As these waves pass through the torso, the stomach and lungs begin to vibrate heavily. This vibration leads to cavitation. Extreme pressure drops inside the organ's fluids cause thousands of microscopic bubbles to form instantly. Those bubbles then violently collapse, generating tiny, jagged shockwaves that tear through the surrounding internal tissue. This explains the external symptoms seen in Venezuela. The target feels a tearing vibration in their gut, leading to immediate, paralyzing pain and severe nausea. By matching these naturally occurring frequencies, the weapon turns the body's vital organs into inescapable zones of trauma. Back on the ground in Venezuela, the 20 American operators reached their objective and secured it while walking virtually unopposed past the incapacitated guards. Superior numbers and heavy firearms were mitigated before the guards could even raise their weapons. To the Pentagon, this technology acts as a force multiplier, allowing a handful of personnel to safely dismantle a much larger occupying force. Physical assets like reinforced concrete bunkers and geographic high ground provide absolutely no shelter against these weaponized wave spectrums. Modern conflict now extends into the vulnerable architecture of human biology itself.